Hello, I'm Stuart Eglin, Director of NHS R&D Northwest. You're about to watch one of a series of films which we've put together to give you some indication of the kind of health research that goes on across the northwest of England. It's an opportunity to hear from some of the key leaders that lead the different health research organisations, units and centres and the like within the region. And what we've aimed at is to find out a little bit more about what goes on in those organisations and some of the stories and narratives that drive them. I hope you enjoy them and I look forward to your feedback. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Byrne. I'm the Director of Education and Quality for Health Education England in the North, and I'm a practicing clinical academic surgeon. I am a working class lad from Liverpool who got a grant to go to medical school in Manchester, and I graduated in Manchester not knowing an awful lot about medicine and medical careers. I developed an interest, as well as an interest in breast cancer surgery, also an interest in education research and how people learn. And I suppose I also had a passion for trying to find out whether it was possible to do things better than I was already doing. I still practice surgery. I do a day's operating every week, and my research has obviously helped me understand what it is that I'm doing. It also has helped me understand how I can use my practical skills to teach other people as well. So it has that sort of dual role of, if you like, pushing forward the edge of science and understanding about what we're doing to patients, but also how to maximise that knowledge for the future generations. I became more and more fascinated with cancer, why some cancers behave differently than others, why the fear of cancer was such a big issue for lots of people, why we could cure some cancers and apparently very similar cancers we couldn't cure. I think being both a researcher and a clinician carries with it the whole range of human emotions. It can be extraordinarily difficult to share in and empathise with women who are recently diagnosed or have been told that their cancer has spread, but also it can be a very elating experience when you can give people the all clear, or you can perform an operation which reconstructs them and gives them a sense of who they are. I think being a surgeon is a hugely privileged position because you get develop intimate relations with people who are really suffering very quickly, and you're able to utilise that privileged position in order to attempt to make their journey much easier for them. My research into breast cancer taught me how to research, and there is a big science of research itself, of understanding how you can prove something, how important it is to interpret data in a way which is meaningful, how to read scientific data in a critical way so that you're able to judge the good and the bad bits of other people's research as well. And so my research into breast cancer, more than anything else, taught me how to research generally rather than specifically more about breast cancer. I've done quite a lot of work in Uganda, other parts of sub-Saharan Africa, and in Southwest Asia. And one of the things that's become, initially when I got involved in building healthcare capacity, particularly in Uganda, I focused very much on teaching local healthcare staff about how to improve their care. But as I've worked there more and more, what I realise is how to make a real effect is to encourage local people to research and ask questions about healthcare themselves, and so to generate, if you like, a critical mass of researchers in people's own country, because growing your own genius or growing your own Einstein is the thing historically which has the biggest effect on people's lives, the biggest positive effect on people's lives. The time lag between doing some research, coming up with some findings, and then it being implemented into practice is very often quite a long period of time. So I am aware of bits of research that I've been involved in. I mentioned them before: endocrine treatment research, large-scale clinical trials, which now have altered the practice or improve the offer that we give to women with breast cancer over and above what it was like when I first started practicing 10 or 15 years ago. I think being a clinical academic is an incredibly fortunate position to be in. I think you have an opportunity to change people's lives in the short, medium and long term. Research itself has been an absolute critical part of my life since 1997. I had no idea at school or at medical school or even when I was training that I had any talent for it. But what I did know is that I was curious. I was really interested in how things happen, how people learn, how things happen in cancer, how things happen in the world generally. And I think that enthusiasm and that drive for wanting to know about things happen is where I am now. The biggest difference that I personally have made is generating an enthusiasm for scholarship, for recognising and for encouraging people to engage in research, to ask questions about what they're doing. I really don't believe that, somebody once told me that if it's instinctive in medicine, it's probably wrong, and what you have to do is you have to make sure that what you're doing is watertight, and that we have a responsibility to understand what we are doing and a responsibility to our patients to make sure that if it can be done better, we do it better. I participated as a co-researcher in numerous clinical trials which have altered practice in the treatment of women with breast cancer, particularly drug treatment, interestingly, in breast cancer, but also in reconstructive treatment. Initially I was appointed as the Director of Education and Quality in October 2013 for the North West, and then latterly over the course of the last 12 months for the North of England. All of my research, I think I've started to see some impact from, some very quickly, some in the medium term, and I think there's some still yet to come.